Yeah, because I look horrible, and I forgot that I'm wearing. You started it.
No,
I'm
mames.
wearing a green shirt.
No, you're not.
I have to change this.
It's army green.
Is it coming up on me? It's not. Okay, we're good.
We saw AIDS beads.
It's camo green.
This will be the Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
It's like weirdly how the numbers have increased.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
after the minute mark, the viewership dropped.
Boobs gone.
No.
Don't worry, folks. It's not worth the $5 a month to see that.
Let me close these birds here. Do you guys hear the bird? Yeah.
Not really. Bird.
It's about to be
Bird
fried.
is the word.
Oh my goodness.
Bird is the word. Everybody knows a bird's the word. That's just a bird. Bird's the word.
The fun challenge is trying to ride someone to that beat, but they would have to have a little ding dong in order for it to work.
When it had big balls. Bong 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 bong.
Yeah, but you have
See?
to go up and down really fast, so it can't be a big one unless you're just I don't know.
I mean, that's just like really quick, like kind of like Tybo.
We're talking about the time we fucked on the hippity hop.
Yes.
To the bird is the word beat.
Mhm.
That's what Doug said. Doug was like, "You want to know my fantasy? Just hum bird is the word and grind to that beat." So I was like,
All I can see is Peter Griffin up and down.
Wow. What did I do to you?
Well, see, when I hear bird is the word,
Or are you still thinking about?
Oh,
Oh my god.
Sorry, Doug. What did you say?
Oh no, I was just saying the bird is the word. Every time I think of that song, I think of the singing asshole. Remember from Pink Flamingos? It's like the guy's asshole opens and shuts to that song.
I haven't seen that movie. Not yet. But I saw the movie where you stuck a tube up some guy's ass and put alcohol down it. Not you, but you as the director made someone do that.
Oh yeah, you got drunk. Well, see, the thing about that was scary to film that because it was a funnel. It was sharp, and then it broke off in there and started blood coming out of the anus.
Oh,
well, that's why you get the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, you could see it on Tubi, so I'm surprised Tubi accepted it. But it's on it's Gross House Dos.
Yeah.
Right. Tubi is not screening a goddamn thing. I know you know this, right? So, anyways, this
is Slashers. Go, Lance. You're next.
This is Slashers.
Oh, he just doesn't know the next part, even though he wants to be a host.
He doesn't. He's so cute. How adorable. Ah, look at him. All right, let's try this again, gentlemen. This
is
Slashers,
your new favorite podcast
about
your old
or new.
And new.
Oh, Lance, there's someone not participating here.
Horror films?
Horror.
Oh
First
my
of all,
god!
horror.
No, just think your mouth. Anyways. Okay.
Anyways.
Váyase la verga, puto mierda.
Okay.
Wow.
This.
He keeps talking. He doesn't want to talk when we're doing it, but he keeps talking.
It's 4 of us, and Mikey's editing, so everyone better shut the hell up and just let me speak.
Yeah, Lance, eat my ass.
Go on.
I'm sure he would love that. Okay.
Not to change my underwear. Who needs Cottonelle when you have Lance?
Oh my God, I am not well, all of you.
Yeah, you're making her things vibrate.
Sorry. AIDS plugged into a battery pack, everyone, and not in the fun flower kind of way.
Yeah, Aid, you want to explain why you got the hentai tentacles on you?
I know. Well, yes, I had a brief stint in the emergency room this week because
they're too big.
No, I legitimately thought it was just something in my arm and I'm fine, right? But it was hurting so bad, so I called MD Live, and the little Jewish doctor, he's very Jewish. I mean, like accent and everything, and he's like, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned that this happened suddenly. So he suggested I go to the ER because he thinks I have a blood clot in my lungs. So immediately I start freaking out, and we go all the way to the emergency room. It's a whole thing.
And it was just gas.
No, I wish it was gas, but it was not. It was a very bad muscle spasm. And the doctor, when he came in, he was like, I know that he's like, muscle spasms are our lowest concern here, but I know for you it's your highest concern. I'm like, yeah, because I've never had this pain in my life. Like, what the fuck? And I couldn't breathe, but I couldn't breathe, and they said I couldn't breathe because the pain had me panicking, and I was just like,
Your anxiety.
so yeah, my
Yeah.
anxiety was making me not breathe, not a blood clot in my lung, thank God. So, anyways, it's fun getting old. Yay! This
It's
is
slashers.
Oh, he got on that real quick. He's like, that's the part I know.
Damn right.
Your favorite
Okay.
horror podcast about your favorite horror media. She is Aid, and she can't talk right now.
Mhm.
She is here joined by her favorite co-host. Never mind. Go ahead. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to
all
say
right. My name is Aid, and with me, as always, are my esteemed colleagues, co-hosts, and cohorts. My boo-boo Mikey,
Duh, bitch.
our Dougie Doug back from Hong Kong, and
Woo-hoo.
Macau.
Ooh, may love you a long time.
Oh yeah. Look at them
Yeah.
sweating moist and they actually do say a no ticky, a no washy.
Oh, thank you, Doug, and Lance.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Wait.
studio, Lance Bass.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
Lance, you can't just wave at the camera. You have to speak into the microphone.
Oh yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. He's over here waving like the audience.
He's all about
can
the
see him.
YouTube audience.
Clearly. 'Cause
We have
he-
about 20 views, 20 solid views per episode, so thank you.
Thank
Mm.
you. Yes. There is a critter and a little clown in his background. So he's got a fun background. Doug has Johnny Depp, and Mikey has the old cast.
Old
That's Johnny
people.
Depp. I thought this was Robert Smith.
It's not Morrissey.
Oh,
Morrissey is playing downtown tonight. I will say.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I was supposed to go see my friends, but I have been a hot mess, so I will not go see them. But they will be down at the Amway tonight seeing Morrissey. Aren't they the Oh wait, Morrissey is what you guys saw, right? Doug, you and your husband?
no, we saw
that was
the
the
Smiths.
Cure.
The
That
Cure,
was
the
The
Cure,
Cure.
yeah, not the Smiths.
Oh,
yeah.
getting the Cure and Morrissey mixed up. Excuse me. Anyways,
Wow.
they're all angry British people. It's fine.
Some
Okay.
gothic kid's cutting his wrist right now.
I'm not
Well,
musically inclined enough to
Lance,
participate.
you're wearing a ska hat, so excuse you.
That's the one where they play trumpets, right? And
Yeah.
They, oh, yeah.
They love
Yeah.
the horns there
They
with
love-
ska.
yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
rest
very
of
90s.
trombones.
Very 90s, and they wear ties and baggy suits.
Lots of blowing.
Oh my.
Oh.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm,
Hmm.
mm.
Is that
I
like
know-
J-Lo's 99 album? I think so.
You know
Go
what's
ahead.
funny? One of my kids was talking to me and he was asking me about ska the other day, and he's like, "What do you think of it?" And I go, "I think it's," and he was all excited because he knows that I love a lot of his music. He loves a lot of my music. This child was not born when any of this was happening. And he was so cute and he was just so happy. And he was talking to me about it. And he's like, "Well, what do you think about ska?" And I'm like, "I hate ska."
Goss for
You don't-
skanks.
I like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. So,
I like their
And they're
cover up
definitely
straight
ska.
up.
mhm. Oh yeah, that too.
It was less than Jake. I mean, anybody? No one. No one?
Less than Jake isn't. Is it ska? Are they ska? I
Less
still
Yeah,
have
than
my
Jake
list.
is definitely ska.
They
are
blow
not
trumpets a lot in that one.
ska.
They
I
blow
still have my
trumpets
t-shirt.
and they blow. That's why it's double ska whammy.
Yeah, it's a DP of ska. Oh man, that would be
Yeah.
terrible.
Such a hate for ska on this channel today.
I actually don't mind it. I just like trolling.
Nice.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So we're not this episode, believe it or not, is not about ska, but this is our second episode. Sorry, Lance. This is our second episode of the month for Tim Burton. And so we decided that we were going to review 2012's Dark Shadows, and which is also based off of the soap opera from 1976. 76?
No, I think it started in the 60s and it ended like in
73?
early 70s. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and look that up. And Mikey, you better take
Where's
this up.
Where's Aid's notes?
I have my notes right here, but I thought I saw that the thing
I
was
think
in
it says
76.
1966 actually.
Is it 66? 66.
Yeah, 1966.
Yeah, close to-
66.
Mhm.
Well, did you guys ever watch Dark
Yeah.
Shadows, the show? Because this was like something that my grandma would watch and it would put me to fuck to sleep.
I watched the first episode in preparation of this podcast, and then I saw the movie, and then I was gonna follow it up with the second episode because I know the second episode is actually when Barnabas comes in.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I just didn't have time for
I
any
watched
of it.
I watched the first 2 episodes, and honestly, like, it's very soap opera. And I remember my mom telling me about this show. She was like, "Oh, it was 1966, by the way. It lasted for 5 seasons. It was a soap opera." But my mom used to watch it. So and also Days of Our Lives came out in the 70s. So my mom was very into her stories. So much so that she would tape them on VHS tapes while she was out of work, and then I would watch them with her at night. Like, I would sit and watch my mom's stories with her. Obviously, Dark Shadows was not there at that time anymore. But she used
Wasn't
to
it
tell me
something
that,
like the most popular soap opera, like daytime something? It won something. Maybe
which
it
one, Dark
not.
Shadows?
Yeah, when I was reading about it, it had some sort of like accolade of being the most watched primetime soap opera or something, but that might
What?
have changed because that was
It's kind of cool. I mean, you think about it, it's probably the only time a soap opera has ever been like based around a horror ideal.
I don't
You
know
know
what
what I
a
mean?
horror is.
Well,
Horror, horror.
yeah, Lance is Jewish. So no, it's funny that you say that, because there are lots of times where daytime soap operas venture into the realm of the supernatural. There is an entire storyline in Days of Our Lives where Marlena gets, excuse me, where
Possessed.
Marlena gets possessed. Do you
Oh
remember
God.
that? She
No, I
does.
was just kidding.
Oh
Oh,
my God, it terrified me, because when she turned in the shower, she was in the shower and she turned into this evil like monster thing. Oh my God, it was so scary. Like,
I remember.
my mom and I were like, oh, you remember that,
What?
Doug? Oh my
Yeah,
God,
it was
yes.
season 32, episode 6, 14 minutes.
Well, no, it probably was season 32. It started in the 70s, and I was watching this as it was new in the 90s. Marlena, there was an entire story. So that was Days of Our Lives, and I'm sure there has been things since, but I stopped watching it about 10 years ago because I was still watching it in college. Like, I was keeping up with the Joneses. I had to know what was going on because my brother and I are named after Days of Our Lives characters. So brother and sister on the show. And at the time, they were killed off, but then, they came back to life when I was in college, so I had to watch it.
Does this talk about like mystical powers where they died and then come back?
Well, that's every soap opera. Like, somebody will die and they come back. And so I think that well, we'll get into all the logistics with Dark Shadows, the film, but the film did a very good job at keeping the soap opera-ness, whatever, the drama, the flair, the gayness, I don't know, all of that intact. Right, Maggie?
Well, I was gonna say, what makes a soap opera a soap opera? Because we have like soap operas that we traditionally think of as The World Turns, Tres Mujeres, all that stuff. But then it's like
General Hospital.
But then, like, would you consider like Ghost Whisperer or like Desperate Housewives a soap opera?
No, those are dramas, because a soap opera. So what makes a soap opera, in my opinion, and I'm not looking this up, but literally daytime soap operas, they happen every single day during the week, during the day, throughout the entire year. There is no reprieve. They don't have any summer break. They don't have any whatever. It's literally every day, Monday through Friday, for 52 weeks of the year, does not stop. So
I mean, but is it based on the idea that it's so ridiculous? Because I mean, I feel like where regular shows kind of have a little bit more in the realm of reality, soap operas kind of go off the hinge in a good amount of time.
Yes, and I think that has to do with the fact that you have writers like writing for this day in and day out, right? And the actors actually knew. So one of a good dear friend of mine is, well, I guess he would be my friend. I used to call him Blondie. His sister used to work on Days of Our Lives. She was actually Xenon from, what is that Disney Channel movie?
Xenon something princess.
Something
Space.
Xenon, the space one, yes.
Space girl, coast to coast.
Yeah. So if you know her name, I mean, I can plug her or whatever, but I don't want to say that we're all best friends. Like, I haven't seen these people in years, but I used to always bitch at him. We would all be out drinking. I'm like, why did she leave Days of Our Lives? Because she used to play Marlena's daughter on Days of Our Lives, and then she left the show. And he actually told me that they work you like a dog on soap operas. Like, you are literally like,
it's like the acting break. 9 to 5.
Yeah, it is not, there's no break. And so I'm sure. And so whenever you see these soap operas, like, yeah, this lasted for 5 seasons, but how many fucking episodes per season? And I haven't looked this up and I don't want to because I'm sure that it's super long, but I did watch the first couple of episodes and it was very soap opera-y. And my mom used to tell me about it. And if you remember from back in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, Passions was really big. Passions was about witches and supernatural stuff. And it was a lot of fun. I loved Passions, and they canceled it, unfortunately. But Passions had a really big Hispanic cast. So it was like bringing the telenovela into the soap opera world. It's great.
Well, that's
And
my
witchcraft.
favorite. Yeah, I watch the novellas with Yahira when she has hers. I don't know what's going on, but you know, I watch them. I like when they get hit by cars and stuff, and they do like 360 spins, and yeah, it's crazy. And then the funny thing is too, next time you watch a soap opera, Aid, look where their eye line is on the camera, because like you said, when they're working them like dogs, they don't memorize the script. They usually have the script down in the corner or it's mirrored,
Yeah.
so they're always looking in the side. So
yeah. And
yeah.
it's typically the same conversation back and forth. And they always have the same storyline going on for a very long time. But what they'll do is they'll focus on 3 stories in one episode and then 3 stories in another. So I guess those people get breaks in the week. But they're very like, I mean, they churn these things out, and I don't know all of the logistics for it, but I do know that they do, and including the writers, which is probably, with the writer's strike, like I guess there hasn't been any soap operas going on. I don't know, but I used to watch SoapNet a lot so I could catch up on Days of Our Lives, and then they would play like reruns of 90210, so that made me excited. Because I guess if you think about it, especially in the early 2000s and late in the 90s, lots of dramas they had seasons with episodes. They had like 30 episodes in a season. Do you remember those days?
Oh yeah.
Like they had just random episodes. I was reading a meme the other day where, and they, on one of the seasons of OC, Brian had an entire arc where he wanted to join the soccer team and he made it. And then it was never brought up again because they needed a filler episode, right? Like we need to bring that back because it's just nice to have a reprieve in some of these shows where you can kind of see, okay, there's like a different storyline. It's like a little break. And then you get back into whatever bullshit drama that they have. Because most seasons now, it's like what, 8, 9, 10 episodes?
Yeah.
Like how lazy can we be?
They don't have any when there were like 22 episode shows, there was always like 15 that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
And then they just connected the other ones.
Exactly. I mean, bring us back to back in the, and you know what? We didn't care because we didn't have, and I think that I'm speculating that our attention span was a lot better back in the day because we weren't so consumed by our phones and social media and all the other content that we are constantly being bombarded with now.
Yeah.
Back then you could have 22 season 1-hour dramas, you know, whatever, and like be excited because you were like, you couldn't fucking wait. You didn't remember what happened the week before. Who the fuck can remember what happened? And you couldn't skip ahead. It's not like when they drop everything on Netflix and you can just watch the whole season in one day. Like it, you know, you just didn't remember. And so it kind of worked that way, I think. I don't know.
Well, now it's like you're watching something on Netflix and in the corner screen it's Subway Surfers, like it's 2 videos in one. So
My God, he's got the pip on. That's an old thing. Anyways.
Mhm.
So back to Dark Shadows. So we all saw Dark Shadows. Did anybody watch this back in the day when it actually came out?
The movie,
No.
this movie,
Yes,
right?
the film 2012.
Oh
Yes, I saw this when me and Yahira went
Yeah.
to go see it in the theater because it's funny. Like we had free tickets and we're like, oh, what should we go see? And we were looking in the theater. We like Dark Shadows was out, but there was some other stuff out. And then some old couple came out. And they're like, that was fucking terrible. And I said, oh, what did you guys go see? We saw Dark Shadows. That's nothing like the show. We watched all the episodes from the 60s. This is a comedy. It's a blasphemy. So we're like, 2 tickets to Dark Shadows, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kept the drama, and this is where I disagree with these old people. They kept the drama of a typical soap opera, but to us and to people watching it now, when you look at everything that it's been presented to you, it looks like it's trying to be funny. I don't know if Tim Burton meant to do that, but I guess he did. I don't know.
Well, they didn't finish the movie. I know that they said they walked out on the part where he goes to McDonald's. Well,
It's like in the beginning.
Yeah.
This is a.
That's where they unbury him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Where he's like,
Yeah,
Mephistopheles.
But see,
I mean,
it's
it's
like
a weird spot.
yeah, well, I was gonna tell him too. I'm like, you two old fucks. Like, you expect to come to the theater to see like some 1970s like TV soap opera. Like, I don't know. It's weird because the audience for this is the boomers. You know what I mean? So,
well, at the time, especially the boomers, and actually the entire cast, or at least four of the main people from the original soap opera, actually show up as guests later in the film. So they do make cameos and appearances here, which I thought was great. Because if they didn't really care for the material, why would they show up and actually do it, right? So
Yeah.
I think that was pretty cool.
Well,
We have
Johnny Depp was definitely a big fan of it, supposedly, right? So I mean, like,
yeah, Johnny Depp was a huge fan. I don't know. I was reading somewhere and I can't remember where I found it, but he was actually like so fucking excited because he acquired some kind of rights or some kind of script or some kind of something for it. And he immediately took it to Tim Burton and said, we have to make this a film. So this was all Johnny Depp is one of the producers. So that's probably why, like, he's a producer, because he really wanted to do this movie. That was his favorite character growing up. He was so excited to be Barnabas Collins. And, you know, Johnny Depp is, when was he born? He was born in 63, 64. So this would have been like his childhood thing watching. So he was probably sitting around like me with my mom. Johnny Depp, I'm sure, was sitting around with his mother and watching this as he was growing up. So I totally understand like the nostalgia for everyone involved with doing this. Because in the same vein, Michelle Pfeiffer also, she called Tim Burton up and she said that she wanted a part in this film. So all of these like really, and at the time, both Michelle Pfeiffer and Johnny Depp were very big actors. So it wasn't like, oh, you know, they're like little plebeians just, you know, trying to make it big. Like they both wanted in this film. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Now,
was this Michelle Pfeiffer's second time working with him besides Batman? Or did she work with him again in between that?
This is the second time.
I feel like it was her second time, which
yeah.
Again, like, okay, because we all know that I truly adore Batman Returns, like my favorite fucking movie. She's so amazing in it. And I think that obviously if she was willing to like go out of her way to come and be a part of something else that was related to Tim Burton and do this, I mean, she has a huge role in this film. Like she's the matriarch of the family. That's a big role.
She supposedly asked to be in this. Like, I mean, I guess she's known for not having to do this. Like, you know what I mean? One of those type deals, especially at that time frame, like you're saying. She was so up there for her to actually ask to be in something comparatively to be asked herself.
She's Michelle fucking Pfeiffer. Why the fuck am I going to ask you? You're supposed to ask me. Right? So,
and maybe it wasn't even a matter of like that she had to ask. It's just maybe they weren't considering her. And she's like, no, consider me.
She was like, bitch. She had her martini in one hand and her cell phone in the other. And she called up Tim Burton and she had a whole thing. And he was like, of course, why the fuck wouldn't I put her in here? Like, why wouldn't you have like a huge acting? Like, I think that's what drew people to the seats, in my opinion. But go ahead. Sorry, Mikey.
No, I was just going to say, just looking at the posters, because I don't have a lot of experience with the show, she looks like who she plays in the original one too. So it's not like she asks and they're like, oh, you don't really fit the part. Like she looks just like her. This is awkward, Michelle.
She's a very white woman playing a very white woman's character, right?
Well, no, but the hair color is the same, the eyes are the same. And I will say I have my issues with Tim Burton, but Tim Burton makes Michelle Pfeiffer look amazing in both of the films that he puts her in. And he gives her, like, I feel like she's like one of his star players. Because I mean, people say, oh, Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp. I fucking hate Johnny Depp. Sorry. And it has nothing to do with the Amber Heard trial. Maybe hate is a strong word. I just think he's not great. Sure, he was cool in Nightmare on Elm Street, but I just think he's weird, and that's fine to be weird, but whatever. I think he looks ridiculous in this movie. He's like the most laughable thing of this movie. But
no, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah,
Michelle Pfeiffer is like his I keep wanting to say Sam Raimi, and I'm very sorry, but whatever this director's name is, she is his star player because he knows what to do with her. He knows the lines to give her and the look to give her, and she kills it.
She does. I mean, honestly, yes, I will say Michelle Pfeiffer, Ava Green kill it in this film.
Oh yeah, and even his wife, she does amazing.
His ex lover. I don't know. It's still not unclear if they're ever married. She did great too. So yeah, all the women would save for Chloe Grace Moretz.
The women we said.
fucking
the women.
sucked. Yes, the women, not the insufferable children in this film. Except for the little boy, he was fine.
Yeah, I also didn't like Josette either, but that's not her fault. I think it was just bad writing.
Yeah, you know what? But she was also that little cringy girl from part 2 of 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, whatever the hell it is. She was a little psycho girl that was like trying to shoot Anna in the loft, and I'm like, where do I know her from? And I had to look it up. And like, oh my god!
I didn't know that there was a second one.
He made her crazy. Oh, no, they get good. But see, that's another soap opera. See, I love the Cheeseman. This is why Doug loves them too, right? Doug, you love the
Oh
cheese.
yeah, I'm loving the Cheeseman. In
love
fact,
the cheese.
What's her name? Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah. Yeah. What is it? Helena? That's the chicken of the madre.
Yes.
We were on the plane to Hong Kong, and we watched a movie with her in it. Where
I thought you were saying you were on a plane with Helena Bonham
I know.
Carter.
I was like, oh, she went with y'all to Hong Kong. That's
like, oh my god, that's amazing.
No, we watched this movie. I couldn't remember what it was, but she plays like this cancer patient, or not a cancer patient, but someone who's in a psychiatric ward that had she was taking her
very
meds.
Different things, Doug.
It is very different, but she's as white as she is in this movie, and I'm like, oh, Tim Burton just took her cancer look to this and gave it to her. But in the other movie, I'm trying to remember what it was. She was in it.
Was it Fight Club?
No, it's a true story movie. It's like one of those like dramas. Those the sad dramas. Yeah.
I will say that Helena Bonham Carter is a very talented and she's an amazing actress. The fact that she's fucking with Tim Burton for as long as she was, like, let's not taint her with that. Okay. Anyways, continue, Doug.
Oh no, I was just saying it's funny because she had some sort of disease in that movie, and then in this one it's just like a regular Tim Burton look. So
yeah, I like her when they glam her up, like in this one and in the Oceans, whatever.
Oceans 12.
9.
Oceans with
one
all
of
the women.
The Women Ocean.
That was very good. Which one was that? It was Ocean something. I liked
the
that
Red
one.
Sea. I don't know what it was called, but
it's like Ocean's 11 or something like that.
What was that? Now I can't even remember. Anyway,
but I don't really watch Tim Burton movies, but when I saw a little clip of her in Alice in Wonderland, and then I saw the character she played in the barber one, which I haven't seen yet. We're gonna see it later, but I was like, okay, this is giving me very Rob Zombie, whatever his wife's name, energy, but it doesn't, because she's actually talented, so I excuse her.
Well, okay, yeah, because I think there's a difference. Like Rob Zombie, Sherry Moon Zombie, she's a quote actress, but she only acts in anything he makes, right? So he has to always make a part for her.
Yeah.
The only thing I think that she ever did well was The Lords of Salem, which I love that movie, and I just watched it yesterday because I've been bedridden for days. Anyways, but with Helena Bonham Carter, just like you said, she is a very talented, she's an amazing actress, and Tim Burton was obsessed with her. She was already a thing. She was already a person before he got her.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about this in the last episode because y'all were not here. I only had Lance, and poor Lance had to listen to me bitch. And and I was like, what do you see in this man? Like, yeah, I mean, it's a great, like, I love his aesthetic. It's wonderful. But what do you see in this man?
I'm going to say it again. He's funny.
Is he?
He must be fun. I don't know what, he must have a bit, I don't know. I'm not even going to say it.
Got a giant hog.
Maybe.
And she needs that bacon.
Maybe
I wonder if it looks like a sandworm.
She's on the desert planet like Dune.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm gonna have to change my underwear again, Lance. My goodness.
All right. Listen, we are in a timeline. So
yeah. How can it be so dry in here when I'm so wet? That's me on Dune. But go ahead.
Dry and Dune. Anyway, so with Dark Shadows, I thought that was fun. I'm glad because I had personally never seen this. Like, I knew it existed and I saw that it came out, and I've always liked Johnny Depp. I never thought Johnny Depp was anything worth like an actor except
only if you can see what Mikey's doing right now.
I see him. Don't worry, I see him.
Let's talk about the folks outside.
Oh yes, folks, that's fine. But you know what? If only you could see me now, because like I dyed my hair blonde and I look amazing. I look like Michelle Pfeiffer.
You look like Chloe Grace Moretz behind you.
Fuck you, my.
Yeah, is that what you say? Like, get out of my room.
Yeah. Chloe Grace Moretz left outside in the sun for a little too long. Here we have Ayn.
Oh shit.
I am personally injured right now. Okay,
Her little electric box was like.
My electric box does not need this right now. I hate all of you. Anyways,
And Mikey's gone.
Mikey, I can't kick him out because he has the thing. Anyways, doesn't matter. All right. So Dark Shadows, I had not seen it, and I'm glad that I watched it because I remember watching like a clip of it. You know, when you're on Netflix and you see like the 5 seconds that goes by, and you're like, oh, why the fuck have I never watched it? Oh, because Johnny Depp has an emo haircut that I can't get over. That makes sense. But
yeah, and his makeup is from Party City.
Yeah, and it's not
it's so bad.
It's not even his hair looks like he has a Lego attachment to him. Like, sort of looks
it does. You know, but I wonder if that's intentional to try and like mimic the cheesiness of soap operas and the low budget of soap operas, because soap operas are just drama. Like you have to make people want to watch it every week, right? Like they have no budget. They're not paying these people. They're not paying the writers. Not paying anybody. Like it's like a 9 to 5 job. You fucking like have to deal with your bullshit and you move on. So I'm wondering if that's the case, because at the time Ava Green really that big of an actress? I don't think so. Johnny Lee Miller, what did he do? He did Dracula 2000 and Hackers. Is it Hackers? What is the one with Angelina Jolie and the boobs? Anyways,
Hackers.
Yeah,
he was married to Angela Jolie actually during that time.
I'll tell you what he didn't do. My vagina, unfortunately.
There it is, folks.
He's hot.
But I mean, this whole movie kind of comes off as a really like toxic relationship where she can't get over him and he keeps telling her no.
Okay, so and what's your point? Like, what's your point?
I was like
reverse.
I love her. I think she's my hero. I was very sad to see her go. Like, I loved her.
She won't drop it. She's like, hey, get it. He doesn't like you. Like, come on.
She wants him to love her. The problem is she was good enough for him to fuck, but not good enough for him to be with.
I'm sure Lance knows all about that. We just had that discussion, didn't we, Lance?
Exactly. So there you go.
She's like, I just got Barnabas Collins Tinder sauce all over my tits, and I just want a relationship because you're on the cannery shop.
That sounds like a verb. I just got Barnabas Collins.
But listen, and this is the thing. So when you watch this film, and this is very soap opera-y, right? So at one point they're speaking in the office, and Barnabas is telling her how much he hates her and all these things. And she's like, okay, well then, you know what? Just be with me. I love you. Be with me. And they have sex. Not only do they have sex, they are like thrashing around the office.
So
and making this big old production of having sex. They have sex. She's smoking a cigarette at the end. And he's like, oh, sorry, I can't be with you. Like, oh my God, every fucking fuckboy in the universe has done that, right?
With the ska hat.
Is he the asshole? He told her in the beginning. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's just post-nut clarity for vampires. So.
Yeah, thank you.
In general.
Yeah. I'm so offended by all of you right now. Like, good for her. And honestly, make that stupid little bitch a werewolf. She was a pain in the ass anyway. I don't care.
It just seemed random, too.
I will say, one of the things that I really didn't like, and maybe this is just, I don't know, because whatever her face is supposed to be 15 years old in this movie. And in the very beginning, when they're all having lunch or dinner or whatever, and she puts the record on and she starts dancing in like a super short skirt, I'm like, I feel a little awkward watching this because she's like a child. First of all, I already hate her. And second of all, like, I feel like...
Well, mini skirts were like the big thing.
But that was shorter than a mini skirt. That was a micro skirt.
Yeah.
And like, I'm all for like, show whatever, girl. But if you're 18, but I know, of course, she's probably 18 in real life or older when she filmed this. But I was like, it's kind of weird. It's also, I don't know, like when you make it a point to announce a character's age and they are underage and they're doing like sexy stuff, I'm like, oh, I don't want to see that.
Well, there's a line in the movie where Barnabas even says to her, he's like, oh, you should work on your birthing hips. 15 and you're not married.
Yeah, and then he calls her a night walker, streetwalker, something
like
that.
Calls her, yeah. Well, basically calls her a hooker, which I thought was funny. But let's just let the elephant out of the bag, or the cat, whatever it is. She's a terrible actress. Chloe Grace Moretz is a horrible actress. She was terrible in this movie. She's terrible in every fucking movie she's in. I've never seen a movie with her. She's always got that look where she's constipated. Like
she wasn't bad in Hit Girl.
She is always looking like she's constipated. I think there's a different way to look. Okay,
yeah, I don't know. I just think but also what makes it worse is her character is stupid. She plays a bratty kid. We're not gonna like her either way.
Well, we're not gonna like her, but even at the same time, the thing is,
technically she did a good job.
No, really. But with that character, even though she's a brat, we should still kind of feel some sort of like something empathy towards her. Yeah, like we're kind of on her side still. And then when she comes out and she says she's a werewolf, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, I don't like you. You can take a little werewolf ass outside and go die somewhere. I don't care. And then Michelle Pfeiffer has to carry you away. Like, you didn't even do anything. You got your ass beat anyway. Yeah. So what is this? What is this? Like, I just don't understand.
Stupid female wolf.
The need to have her. I think that, and I honestly feel like they thought that she was going to be the it person, and she's not. Let's just say for what she is. Stop trying to make Chloe Grace Moretz happen, because she's not going to happen.
Yeah. CMG just isn't going to happen. Stop trying to make CMG work, Lance.
Yeah. Yeah. That too. Anyways, so I'm just over it. So let's go ahead and go for the trivia. So the tagline of the film is every family has its demons, which I think is so cute because that's true, right? Like
he's a vampire. Let's calm down.
He's a vampire. The recapitation of the film. If you guys have never seen, so if you want to watch a couple of episodes, and which I feel like everyone should watch a few episodes of Dark Shadows from the 60s, you can actually stream it for free right now on Tubi. So just fucking watch a couple episodes. Put it on the background. That's what I did. Put it on the background. Do your thing. Just listen around. Or you can stream on Amazon. Excuse me, Mikey.
It does have a really good score though. Like especially if you're like decorating for Halloween, it has that like theremin like type score. And
it's very soapy, and we love that. So I mean, I love that anyways. It was directed by Tim Burton. It's 113 minutes. It feels like it's longer than it actually is, honestly, in my opinion, but the screenplay was by Seth Grahame-Smith, who actually wrote Pride and Prejudice versus Zombies and the Abraham Lincoln vampire bullshit movie. So he likes this. Book. He likes to like adapt things, so that's fun. And then the story is by John August. John August actually did Charlie's Angels, both of them, with Cameron Diaz, Lisa Wu, and Drew Barrymore, and then Big Fish.
Who? Lisa who?
Lisa Liu. Cindy Lou who? Okay.
Who? I hardly know her.
You said Lisa Wu.
Lisa Liu. I said
Lucy Liu, not Lisa Wu. Anyways, it's her list.
First of all, I am injured.
Oh.
I have an injury. Stop.
You're setting off her vibration box.
I know.
Who are you? I know it's making it.
Sorry, I had the racist setting on.
Is that like those Kegel bells? Like in the videos where they're like, "Oh, I'll control you." And you're like, oh.
You know what? Like, I am never talking to any of you ever again after today. Okay.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Or whatever Tim Burton masterpiece you're watching.
Another one where they got the white skin.
First of all, Mikey, I will beat your ass because I've been doing you and Jason your shit for how many months? I want 1 month, and now I got to get shit for it. Like, I love that. Anyways, because I always say yes. I say yes to everything, and all of you know this.
You're a trooper.
Thank you. I know I'm a trooper.
Yeah, yes means no, or no means yes.
I'm a.
What? Anyways, trivia.
So the story is by John August, who did, like I was saying, Charlie's Angels with everybody in it, and Big Fish, not the one with that bitch that we don't like from Twilight. Big Fish, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Frankenweenie. So he's obviously a very big Tim Burton person. And then we have Seth Grahame-Smith, who did the screenplay, but we already talked about him. So they actually worked on the story together, and it was based on Dark Shadows. And the person who wrote the whole Dark Shadows premise is Dan Curtis. Yay. So it was produced by a bunch of people who nobody would recognize, but obviously Johnny Depp is one of them because Johnny Depp is very excited. Johnny Depp is very excited over this project, Mikey. Thank you. And then
He's probably bored. He's like, I'm a rich bastard. I watched all episodes of Dark Shadows. I better do this because
Johnny, like, okay, like who said he was weird? Yes, like Mikey said, Johnny Depp is very weird, which is why he like kind of fits Tim Burton's bill, right? One thing about Johnny Depp I will say that I do not like. I mean, I think it's funny that he does a little band. I think it's hilarious that his best friend is Marilyn Manson. Like, oh, wow, good for you. But I
think he's
forget.
actually in a band with Alice Cooper now.
Yeah, they're all in like some like old man band. How cute.
Yeah,
They're
like
like the
something Viper.
they jam out in the garage and they have fun and they're all old. Who cares? Which Alice Cooper is in this movie, so now it all makes sense. The movie is set. The film is set in 1972, everyone. So that's why, like, if you see the whole aesthetic of the film is very 70s because it is set in the 70s. It's not trying to be whatever, like some movies, like you can't really tell because the millennials or not the millennials, the zennials don't know how to dress. But anyways, so Johnny Depp is weird. But one thing I will say about this whole thing, like, I just did not like his like whole like. He's kind of an asshole when it comes to the fact of that he doesn't want anyone to like acknowledge his presence in Nightmare on Elm Street, which I think is so stupid.
That's dumb.
Like that's where you started.
Like that was the best thing you did. So let's go ahead and not pretend that it wasn't.
Well, that's okay. Now he's known for Amber Heard taking a shit in his bed. So
well, yes, and then you're that weird that you attract the type of people who shit in your bed. Like, what is this? Like,
I guess he really shit the bed, didn't he?
and this is not me. Like, I don't dislike Johnny Depp. I don't hate him at all. But
sounds like you do.
I think he has problems. It's okay. We all have problems.
We all do.
Bless his heart.
I mean, he just gets famous for how long? Like at one point, you just get bored.
Whatever.
Well, if we forget
millions of dollars, like I give a fuck.
If we ignore Nightmare on Elm Street, like he wants us to, then I guess you could say he got famous from Edward Scissorhands.
Well, yeah, Edward Scissorhands, another one, but I don't think we're doing that this month.
Oh yeah, Angelina Jolie didn't like kissing him either. She said he tasted weird.
Yeah, I guess he tastes like patchouli. That's what everyone says.
I feel like he kisses funny when I watch his movies. He's a weird
could see
kisser.
That.
You know what's weird though? Johnny Depp,
I don't think he brushes his teeth.
Ew. He probably has wooden teeth like George Washington, but because it's quirky. But my neighbor across the street looks and reminds me of like Johnny Depp, like no cap, as the kids say. And I think he's super sexy. Hopefully he doesn't listen to the show. But then I see Johnny Depp and I'm like, ugh, gross. Yeah.
Well, Johnny Depp, no, he's gorgeous. He's a very good looking man. Like I think he is. I have no.
You know what he was
like,
caught in?
As weird as he is, he would be the guy that I would think was so hot, and I would like hang out and date for a little while, maybe hook up with. But I'd be like, "You're kind of weird. I'm done with you. Bye." Like,
no,
that's what the guy would be.
No, he looks like he smells like peas. But
in that, good for you.
Yeah, but not to smell like it. The movie The Astronaut's Wife, he looks like he eats a mad pussy in that movie. I think he actually does.
Okay,
with Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Listen, you know how I feel about those scenes.
Yeah, that's one reason why you like Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you watch that in 4K, you can see like the pubic hair stuck in his teeth.
So. Ew.
So what?
He comes up with a full Santa beard, but it's just her pubes.
Not all of us have that. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah, Doug. Some of us snare.
Yeah, but I don't do that. There's nothing gone.
Yeah, it's like sucking a slug. Or two slugs.
Douglas!
I mean, I have to just take him for his word because I've never done anything like that with a woman. I'm not a lesbian.
Just get an Arby's roast beef sandwich and just stick your tongue in there.
Does it do the same thing when you put salt on slugs? If you put salt on
the I don't know, I'll probably get slapped.
Does it look like a rabid mouth?
Where the fuck is Yahira? Get Yahira downstairs right now.
Well, I just trimmed my nails last night. She said I almost gave her an abortion.
All you have to do is do what the lesbians do and just trim these. The other ones can be long.
Yeah. Oh, the coke nail?
No, that's the opposite. The finger blaster nails.
AIDS, man. AIDS changing. She's like the Hulk because half her green screen's going green.
she's hulking out.
Anyway, it stars Johnny Depp, Ava Green, Sally Heathcote, Michelle Pfeiffer, Helena Bonham Carter. I can't say anything, and you guys know why. Johnny Lee Miller, Chloe Grace Moretz. Let me vomit a little bit in my mouth when I say her name.
Gross.
And Jason, I don't care what you think of her. She fucking sucks.
Yeah, Jason.
And
thanks for choosing this theme. Go ahead. Jackie Earle Haley, the best Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Jackie Earle Haley, aka Freddy Krueger. Everybody, I don't
Bad
hate
News
that.
Bears.
But honestly, I don't hate that one. So all of you can come for me. I don't give a fuck. But you guys come for me anyways. Who cares? Alice Cooper is in this, and then we have like the original cast from Dark Shadows do cameos. So there's actually a very good cast of people in this film, and honestly, I think it's great. Like I don't hate anything about this movie. What I feel like it could use is more of a plot. Like I feel like they try to stick so much towards the soap opera plot where like things kind of happen, but like the energy always stays stagnant. Everything stays stagnant. There's never like a time where it's like, like you never feel like, oh, like it's always like very stagnant. And then at the end they have this big ass thing, big whoop, and then it's over. I don't know what they were thinking. But I think
love how the townspeople leave just because like they're like, oh, this is gonna be a fight between the weird witch and the weird Dracula guy. Let's all go home.
Yeah, they actually listen. It's well, see, the funny thing is, it's like if you break it down, this movie's just like a synopsis. Like, say no one's watched Dark Shadows before, and you're like, oh, a vampire comes back to his family home state so he can run a fish canning factory.
The dueling fish providers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in Maine, so it's believable. That's what their big market is up there is fish.
Yeah, but you're a vampire. It's like I took eternal rest to sleep, and I wake up and I have to fucking work.
But his thing was about providing for his family. His family's business was going under, and so he wanted to help them get back on their feet. And then
what he should have done.
I had a couple of issues. The biggest one being,
were they slugs in the night? I don't know.
What?
Who compared my vagina to slugs?
That was Doug.
I can't remember.
That was Doug. I just asked if you put salt on it if it boils. But anyways, so
okay,
Doug, no, you're on timeout, Doug. My thing is, I know it's supposed to be like a lighthearted soap opera, whatever. But if you were like put away for 200 years because some bitch killed your love and threw her off a cliff, and you come out and you see her and you're like, oh, I don't like you. It's like, no, bitch, it's going down right then and there. I don't care if you're Mexican or white, because usually it's like, well, I'm Mexican. That's why I act first. But no, like you would smack a bitch down. He didn't. And like he meets with her a couple more times, like cordially. I'm like, no, like what she did to you and then you find out that she kills more people and he's like, I still don't like it.
Well, because he's the man and he still wants to get laid. That's his problem.
That's right, Lance.
I don't even know where that's gone.
I could do anything. Be like, hey, want to over here? And you know what every fucking straight male would do? Be like, yeah, I do.
Yeah. But what I also kind of liked, but they didn't really do anything with it, was when
Mikey was being facetious, everyone.
Yeah, that word. Is when he kills people and they just like, cool. Because he kills like innocent people, a lot of them.
The hippies. I felt bad. I was like, why? And
I knew he was gonna kill them like while they were talking. I'm like, he's gonna eat them afterwards.
What did he kept calling? He kept calling them the smelly people. What did he say?
He's like, those nice people who didn't shave. But I was like, okay, cool. Like there's parts where it actually gets kind of dark. And, I talk shit about Tim Burton, but this movie isn't a bad movie. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I think I was just, and maybe it's because they wanted to be true to the original content, but I was like, I feel like it struggles to pick what it wants to be. Does it want to be kind of funny? Does it want to be kind of campy? Does it want to be a little more horror? Above all, I just hate the way he looks.
It screams like when did this come out? Because it kind of looked like, I was gonna say, it was like Because it kind of came off looking like a weird, longer version of like the Caesar haircut that was really popular in the 90s.
Well, it's not even just his hair. His makeup looks like a theater production from my high school. Like,
yeah, he had lipstick on. And so, like, again, I don't know if any of these choices were intentional because it was like playing off of a soap opera. If they were intentional because of that reason, then that makes sense. I didn't find anything on that. Like,
but even I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
Barnabas in the show wasn't that dramatic with his makeup.
No. Of course, it was
No.
the 60s. He was a man's man. But like, so this film, there's a lot of little different tidbits about it. But we know that Alice Cooper actually does a cameo, and he's actually playing songs like, you know, no more, Mr. I love that song. I love that song. Like, I always put it on. Like, it's like one of my favorites. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But they didn't use any CGI to make him look younger. And so
No.
I was actually doing research before I watched the movie, and I'm like, he kind of still looks like he looks now. He's fucking old. He looked old then, he looks old now. Who gives a fuck? I love you, Alice Cooper, but you're kind of a Trump supporter, so I don't love you anymore. And then
I am too.
He's like a Republican who plays golf.
yes, you're Alice fucking Cooper. Why would you do that? Like, you wear makeup and you look like a woman and you have a woman's name.
Didn't Trump say his favorite song is like $1 Billion Babies? So
is that an Alice Cooper
that's
song?
an Alice
really?
Cooper song. I think it is, yeah.
Or is
$1
that
Billion
Ted?
Babies.
I think it's Ted Nugent. Is it Ted
that's-
Nugent go suck a dick. I don't care.
No,
Yeah.
Ted
Anyways.
Nugent's dead, so are all those. Oh wait, no, that's Jimmy Buffett. So
Oh, Doug!
Doug, it's Jimmy
Too
Buffett.
soon. Too soon,
Did
Doug.
they say Johnny Buffett?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna pray. Anyways,
I love the
really-
running joke about Alice Cooper being a woman.
yeah.
I thought that was fun. That
So-
was like the part that actually made me laugh.
There's actually something about that, actually, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was actually based on a witch who was hung in one of the Salem witch trials. Her name was
His-
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, his name.
So her name was Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper actually chose her name for his stage name as Alice Cooper the man. So it was, and Barnabas was alive when that person existed, so he did know who that woman was.
Yeah, because
So
there's
that's why.
tell him
yeah.
the line. Tell him the line.
What did he say? He said, "Oh,
They said-
I recall her."
Yeah, she's like, Alice, it's not a part without Alice Cooper. And he's like, I do remember her.
I do recall her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like
Probably
that.
they're
Yeah.
burning her.
yeah, which I thought was great. So he was there, and you know that's so cute. I love that though. I love that he was there and doing it because I feel like a lot of the music was kind of like in the background when things were happening in the film.
Yeah.
So we had I mean, and it's actually a very sad movie because when you think about it, so Barnabas kind of, if we look at the recapitation really quick, or the recapitation, an imprisoned vampire, Barnabas Collins, is set free and returns to his ancestral home where his dysfunctional descendants are in need of his protection. And so that's like the basic premise of the film. But really what happens in the film is that he is fucking around with his maid, his French maid, played by Ava Green, and she wants him to love him, and he says, I don't love you. And she puts a curse on him and kills his family, makes him a vampire, kills his girlfriend,
As you
throws
do.
her off a cliff, as you do.
Classic.
As you do.
She's so funny.
She had to go, you know what? We do what we gotta do, you know? And she buries him in a tomb for 200 years. Actually, just shy of 200 years. It wasn't 200 years.
Yeah,
gets
he's
out
so
in
dramatic. It's
72.
197.
Exactly.
Give or
Exactly.
take.
The hyperbole,
seriously.
the audacity. And so they were building a new McDonald's and they accidentally dug up his grave.
Yeah.
Also, why did they already have the sign and lit up before they had even the building?
Well, I don't
they
know
wanted
because
people to get excited.
no,
They
I think
sponsored it.
it was already there
Yeah.
because the people that were digging were people that worked for what's her name?
Ava Green.
Angelique.
Her name Angelique.
Because I kept thinking about the pink lady from LA. But so those people worked for her. So I think they're probably
Yeah.
breaking ground on something new. But I didn't know that Mephistopheles was another name for Satan. So when he rises from the ground, he sees the M, he thinks it's for Mephistopheles. He's like, oh, Mephistopheles. And so but yeah, there was actually a lot of like Satan jokes, which I think are funny, but I'm like, I can't imagine people that like came to watch this because they love the 60s show were like super gung-ho about Satan jokes.
But
Yeah, what was the horror of Beelzebub? Right.
Well, but then it could have been that way. And the thing is, I watched 2 episodes, and they're both very soap opera addict. But I haven't seen the whole season, so God knows what the fuck came up, because there were witches, there were werewolves in the series, there are all of these little supernatural elements that show up in the film. So
I think I read somewhere actually in your notes where they were saying that I think
thank you. Oh, look at somebody read my note.
well, one of the
Look at
characters,
him.
I guess, from the actual soap opera is considered the first female werewolf ever from any actual film type of adaptation of anything.
So what ended up happening was Chloe Grace Moretz was the first female werewolf to be depicted in the Dark Shadows series. There were
is that what it was?
5
It made it seem like it was in the actual soap opera.
There were 5 werewolves in the soap opera. None of them were women, so she's the first woman to play one. Not that she did a good job; she got her ass kicked. So
yeah, she tried.
Like, what was her point? There was no point.
Well, I was kind of laughing because she turns into this werewolf and she gets hit against the wall, and then you hear that little
the yelp.
Like, yeah, the yelp. I'm like, where did that come from?
Oh, I thought you were a little tough bitch with your lava lamp and your fucking Steve Miller Band poster on your wall. I don't know. Like, cheese it. Yeah. Sorry. Anyways. Did I say Steve Miller Band? Why did I say that? Anyways, continuing on.
With your dang kitty poster in the background.
I mean, it is what it is. I honestly, I didn't hate this one. Do I think it's the best Tim Burton film? Absolutely not. Ava Green stole it. Ava Green. First of all, anything Ava Green is in, because she's in good. The way that she looks when she does that thing with her eyes, and her eyes are so beautiful. No, she like stares at you. She gives you this glare with her eyes.
No, I do love her.
So she's so fucking beautiful. What an amazing
and the stuff they did with the porcelain part where she was slowly cracking the whole time, that was actually really cool effect going on. I don't know how they did it in the sense of no CGI or if they did or not. But
that's a metaphor. That's a metaphor for a woman slowly breaking down from the patriarchy and what men do to us.
I knew that was coming.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think Tim Burton did that on purpose, but it was definitely CGI. They said that there was no CGI used for something. I forgot what it was. I think it was for Alice Cooper. Yeah. But they definitely used, because like the heart was CGI.
That ghost looked like a PS2 game.
I was just I was disappointed because she was like, take this, and I thought she was just gonna pull out like her labia, but it was her heart.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, why, girl? You do not need to go down. Like, just accept it.
I'd be like, throw your pussy at him one more time.
Oh yeah.
Well, because he would have taken it because he was a fucking pervert.
Yeah. Even if it was all cracked, literally.
Yeah. Well, that's for the sequel, Mikey. Dark Shadows 2, Wet Shadows.
Oh my.
Yeah. It's gonna have the who was it? The doctor.
Spiky Shadows.
The doctor lives at the end, remember? Because they almost act like they're gonna have a sequel to this.
Well, I think 50 years is old enough to give a spoiler, but I know that Dark Shadows ends with Barnabas and the doctor going to Europe together to live forever together. Oh. She cures him.
So yeah, she does cure him on the show. So in the movie, I think that they were setting it for a sequel, but also it was also an homage to the fact that in soap operas, no one ever dies for real.
Yeah.
So even if they which of course we know they never make a sequel, I think that that's a really great way to end it, because it is true in any soap opera, people die all the time and they bring them back. Like, it's not a big deal.
They just have a neck brace on,
Yeah, they like come back
even when their head's cut off.
Yeah, their head's cut off. They fall off a cliff and they're like, "Oh, I'm back!" And they're like, "You survived. What happened?"
They have a kink in their neck. It's okay.
And they're like, "Oh, wasn't Rodney Dangerfield on like one of the soap? He was on something, I'm sure." And
I think you're thinking of John Candy, where like
was it John Candy?
I think there was a thing where it was he was a writer for a soap opera or something like that. And then he ends up getting knocked out and he ends up in the soap opera or whatever. And they had stuff like that. Or even there's another really cool movie that has a whole bunch of actors in it with like Whoopi Goldberg's in it. I think
Sister Act. Um,
Not that one, but yeah, it is very soap
Lance
opera.
remembers.
Oh, and by the way, I know kind of going back, but that movie that with Helena Bonham Carter, it's called Helena. It's 55 Steps. So check it out so you can see the true sequel to Dark Shadows. Just played with her having cancer.
Well, Helena is always fun as what's her name in Harry Potter. So.
Oh yeah, Dominatrix, whatever her name is.
Bellatrix. Remember, because Doug, we took you on the ride, but it was funny. We didn't have to wait, but we went in the single riders line, so literally all four of us were in different carts.
Yeah. No, we made some good friends that day.
Oh, that's fun, yeah. But no, she's really great, and the thing is she's a great actress. And I was saying that before, like she was in films where men like always fall in love with their co-actors, right? And Johnny Depp is one of those idiots. And she could have had Brad Pitt was also one of that. Yeah, but Brad Pitt was also another
Tim
one
Burton.
She chose Tim Burton, and like from Planet of the Apes, while she was dressed in her makeup, and then we find out
thought that as a red flag.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I wanted to fuck you dressed like an ape.
According to my notes, he's a self-professed Anglophile, which I think is so stupid. Like,
all right, big words. What is this, PBS?
It's not a big word. It's like a person who's obsessed with British and English culture.
Oh, so boring, crusty, and
so fish and chips.
He got his dick up because he left her. She had a British accent. That's the only thing he cared about.
You're just like a monkey, but I hear the voice only. I'll close my eyes.
Although, which I find hilarious because a lot of her American films, she has no accent. So, would you like?
Obviously faking it.
Would you like, Mr. Burton? Yeah.
Probably not the only thing she faked.
Ooh, Lance.
Yeah.
Family podcast.
I've been around Mikey too long.
You're so
the
bad.
corpse bride in real life.
Anyways, so I guess we're at the end of the episode. Are we done? Are we done with this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Douglas, where can we find our Redbubble, our t-shirts, our dental dams, our coffee cans?
You can find all that. Yeah,
Mikey's G-spot, his G-string, Mikey's lube.
We got some snug. Oh man, I'm slurring my words worse than a sexually awakened nun.
Mikey just got back from Hong Kong, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm still.
Oh, Mikey, Doug.
Everyone needs to go take a nap, and we will finish this podcast in the morning.
I'm injured.
Yep.
Like,
right now it's
electrical therapy.
Yeah, right now it's like 7 a.m. for me right now. That's how I feel. But it's so you can go to redbubble.com/slasherspod or just go to Redbubble and type in slasherspod. All the stuff comes up. You get your coffee cans, dental dams, and you can buy all that stuff. Every support goes to a penny towards our accounts.
Every support goes to a penny.
As Jason would say,
I'm not even drinking.
Lights on here, as Jason would say. We miss you, Jason. We miss you, Jason. We miss you, Jake.
Yeah, Jason, we miss your chips.
Well, I just think it's funny how Adrian came to us begging for someone to host the show. And there's one person mentally capable of carrying this show to its entirety. And he has nothing.
Who did nothing?
Lance.
Well, yeah, Lance is the only one. He hasn't been drinking for weeks. He's on
sober for about 2 weeks.
He didn't pull a double like I did. And I'm not talking about working shift.
Well, he can go ahead and be on his soapbox. I'm on meds, and if I wasn't on that, I'd be loopy on my muscle relaxers. So.
Yeah, no one can tell. Anyways, if you'd like to support us monetarily, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/slasherspod, where there's benefits starting from $1 all the way to however much money you want to give me.
How much money you want to put in Mikey's G-string? Ew. Anyways.
I'll take it like an elephant.
All right. And don't forget to support us monetarily at patreon.com/slasherspod. Did I already say that?
I did. That's literally what I just said.
Okay, because I was
this episode of Slasher Spot has been basically patronized by diazepam, so please buy some.
Electric shock therapy, folks, and alcohol.
It works.
It
Okay.
works.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. So did we say Redbubble? We said Patreon.
Yes.
We said Redbubble. Okay.
Instagram.
Instagram. So you can follow us. I'm sorry. You can follow us at Instagram at slasherspod or slasherspodcast on Facebook, or at the Mutant Goons from Beyond on both Instagram and Facebook. You can follow Mikey at Horror and a Half Shell. You can follow Doug at Doug Bizarro, or you can follow Lance and the band we hate at Zombie versus Hate.
Weirdly.
I know.
If you follow me, I'll show you how I can swallow this in one gulp.
Ooh. Yes, and then but you also have to pay him as well. So on patreon.com/slasherspod, there's a tier for Mikey swallowing the can.
That's a $69 month tier.
And with that,
I wasn't swallowing it with my mouth. Go ahead.
With that, all of my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful perverts, goodbye and good day.
Bye.
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 Mikey, stop recording this, please.
Okay. Lance, next time bring your fucking A game, I swear to God.
Oh my God, it's all his fault.
Well, sorry, bro.
No, stop.